Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl EKay, and welcome to another episode of Grinding Through. Thank you so much for tuning in with us on today. I know it's been a little bit of a minute, but we were getting things together for the new year. Happy New Year to everybody. Oh my God, I cannot believe that we are in a new decade. It is 2020, y'all. That is crazy. I can't even remember ever thinking that I would ever get it to the year 2020, but we are here and we are full force ahead, and I'm super duper excited about all the wonderful things that are going to be happening with Grinding Through. So I want you all to stay tuned and bear with us and stick with us and grind this thing out with us, because we have some really exciting things that are coming for the new year. So let's get started. Okay, so on today's episode, we are going to talk about the new year. Let's talk about it. I know a lot of times, a lot of us make New Year's resolutions. We talk about the things that we're going to do in the new year. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start that. I'm going to put this in my regimen. This is all, you know how we do. And we end up falling off, 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, and we don't stick to it. But I'm challenging all of you to actually make this year the best year that you could possibly make it. I am super duper excited, and I know I say that a lot, but I really am, about what 2020 has to bring. I have been thinking about the year as a whole, and even coming into the year, prepping for getting into 2020. And I'm just like, a lot of things have to be different. I'm going to do a lot of things different. I had already started making steps in 2019 to do things differently in 2020. And it's so crazy because my pastor was saying, you got to start early. You got to get things done ahead of time. You got to get it done, start planning and doing stuff before you get to, and that's just like in life. We always want to plan ahead, and a lot of times we can't fulfill our goals, and we can't fulfill our dreams, and we can't push past those stopping points, or those points when we want to give up, because we don't have the stuff written down. We don't have goals. We don't have things that we can look at that will give us that strength back that we need to keep pushing through and keep pushing forward to get stuff done. So this year in 2020, I am challenging you all to write it down. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have 50,000 things. I suggest you get one thing and you focus on that. Why one thing? Again, as my pastor was telling me, Pastor Keon, shout out to Pastor Keon. He was telling us, get that one thing that you're good at. Focus on that. Allow that one thing to be your foundation. Let it set a foundation for some of the other things that you want to do later on. But get that one thing set and let that be your foundation. And then once you get that thing set and that thing can run on its own, then boom, you can move on to the next thing, because that thing is set. You don't have to focus on it anymore. It's already into play. You know what I'm saying? And so then you can move on to the next creative thing that you want to do, or the next invention, or the next project, or whatever that is. That's like for me, I have a couple of things going on in my life, and I'm like, man, why am I not succeeding at these things that I have, for myself? And then I had to remember, that's because you're doing too much. You know what I mean? And I thought about that, and I said, okay, well, I'll break it down to about 2 or 3 things and let me do that. And that's what I was doing for a couple of years, and it still wasn't working, and I didn't get it. And then I was listening to my pastor, and in one of his messages, he talked about that, because we were getting prepped for the new year, and having 2020 vision, and really being focused on the things for the new year. And that was one of the tips that he gave us, and it's some good advice. And I said, he's so right. When you've got your attention on so many things, you don't give the love and attention to that one thing to help it flourish like you need, because you're spread out too much. And that's just in life, period. We're always so spread out in everything that we're doing. We want to be the perfect mom or dad. We want to also be the perfect volunteer and the perfect PTO parent and the perfect aunt. And I want to be an entrepreneur, but I also want to do, I also want to be an artist. I also want to do, and it's just like, that's a lot. Maybe you need to pick that one thing and stick to it, right? So that is what I am doing this year. And I want to challenge you all to do the same. Get that one thing. Focus on that one thing. Let that one thing be your foundation. And build on that. And then you make room for the other things that you want to do because you've got a solid foundation and you have something for those other projects to stand on. I think we can do that, right? Don't you think we can do that? So that is my challenge for you all because that is something that I'm going to do. So as we embark upon the new year and we think about the things that have happened in 2019 for me was a pretty rough year. I've told you all before in previous podcasts episodes that I'm that person that I'm gonna be transparent as transparent and as real as I possibly can because I want my journey to help someone. You know what I mean? I don't want to do all of this and then it all be in vain and nobody get it and no one get anything out of it. But I've always lived my life so that I can be a blessing to someone else and that my testimony can also get someone else through whatever it is that they're going through. So the top of this year, I've said in my previous episode, I was done. I was done with life. I was done with all of it. I was at home visiting for the holiday and I had made a decision that was it for me. I was going to come home and that was just going to be all. And I didn't have anything else to give. And I was just going to be like, okay, well, hey, I'm just going to sit this thing out. And that's it. Wasn't going to answer my phone. Wasn't going to talk to anybody. I hadn't even planned on getting up. I didn't know what I was going to do with my kid. How she was going to get to school. None of that was of my concern at the moment. I was soaking and in my own crap. You know what I mean? And so my brother had mentioned Lighthouse Ministries to me, Lighthouse, which is under Pastor Keon Henderson. And he was like, you need to come. He says, it's a great ministry. And he says, and I know that being under this man's leadership, your life will change. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't trying to hear it. I just was trying to just live in what I was living in my own crap. And I was soaking and I didn't care. So, I started off the year not on a good note and I didn't care about being in 2019 and I just wanted to get through it, you know what I'm saying? And set things up for my kid and just make sure that she was going to be taken care of. I wasn't even worried about me. And it's crazy because God had something different for me. And there was still a part of me that was hopeful. And I didn't know that it was hopeful until after he had mentioned the ministry and mentioned some things to me. And I got home and I said, okay. And I said, you know what, my daughter is worth me trying. She's worth me doing something to better myself so that she can have a better future. And I was just like, I'm gonna go. It's not gonna hurt, right? So of course, in the spirit of procrastination, I didn't go the first Sunday that I got back. I was like, man, I ain't going. And I was just like, but I knew, and I could feel God tugging on me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. And told him I was coming, and he had it all set up, and I went, and I was just floored by the atmosphere and the anointing that was in that place. This is for my Christian people. I know everybody who listens to me may not be Christians, but y'all already know. I love God. And I'ma still love him. I'ma still be as transparent and as real as I possibly do. But I love the Lord. Okay, so deal with it. But it was, oh my God, it was so amazing, and I had the most amazing time in that service. And I was just like, good Lord. And he called a revival, and I said, I guess I came on the right day. He called a revival for that week, and he says he'll keep calling a revival until the Lord tells him to stop. And He called a 3-day revival. And I came back the next day, and my life was forever changed. So I said all that to say that I started off the year on a bad note. I started off the year feeling bad and feeling depressed and feeling some kind of way about myself and my situation. And by the summer, a lot had changed. I was listening to the word. I was applying the word. And not that I hadn't before, but I feel like maybe I just didn't believe enough, you know. My stepfather had been a huge influence in spiritual aspects of my life, and I could go and ask questions, and you know, he seemed to always have the answers, and he wasn't there, you know. And I was just like, good Lord, I don't know, you know. And I do have other spiritual people that I can talk to. My father is a pastor, and he's an amazing man. And a lot of times I feel like, oh, I don't want to burden my dad with this, you know. He's got a lot going on, but I had to ask questions, and it put me in a position for me to really lean on God and really dig into my relationship with him, because I knew that I had one. But it was just so much going on, and I was like, he ain't listening to me. God's not listening, you know. And so I just had to encourage myself. I did. I locked myself up, y'all. And I didn't lock myself up to stay away. I didn't lock myself up in a place of depression. I locked myself up in a place where I could hear from God. I needed to just get back on that one-on-one that I knew I had and that I lost. I felt like I lost. I'm like, listen, God, I don't know what's going on, but I just don't feel like I'm near you, you know? So I had to get back to that place, and I took some time away from people and from things and from stuff, and I dug into my word, and I dug into, and then hearing this man preach. I have been under some amazing leaders. I can say that I have grown up with some amazing leaders. My pastor growing up, Dr. Reuben Anderson, he is my uncle, but he amazing man of God. My father, amazing man of God. Dr. Eric King, amazing. So I've always had great men in my life to get me to certain seasons and to get me to certain places in my life. And I've been able, Dr. Bishop Hilliard, like, you know, amazing man of God. And so to come from those, and I get here, and it's different. And the way, I don't even know how to explain it, but the way that he preaches and the things that come out of his mouth are profound, but they are different. They're very different for the season at the time that I was in, but it's where I am. And I know that things progress, you know, as your seasons change and things like that. There's always, you know, sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. We talked about that too. He talked about that too. Sometimes you're not in the season that I'm talking about. You know, you might have just rode out of one of the seasons that we're talking, you know, but anyway, at the time, that's what I needed. And he gave it, and I was like, yes. And so it encouraged me. Oh my God, it just encouraged me. And I love every bit of that ministry and what it entails and what it holds and the people who are a part of it. And it was encouraging then, and it's encouraging now. And so I thank God for him and his obedience to the word of God and his obedience to ministry, because he's helping people. And he's helping us build character. He's helping us build businesses. He's helping us build our families. He's helping us to be better people. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful to be under his leadership, because it is definitely what my life is calling for and was calling for at that particular moment. So I applied a lot of the principles that he was given. And it's amazing, because it seemed like it didn't mean much. I'm like, but all he said, well, I knew that. But apparently I wasn't applying it. I was applying this stuff, you know, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm seeing change. I'm seeing God do these things in my life. I'm seeing stuff change. I'm seeing things around me, to go from living with someone to living on your own and and you feel a certain way when you get a certain age and you become a parent or whatever, the situation is. You feel like, dude, I'm too old for this. I'm too old to be asking somebody for help. I'm too old, and that was my thing. Like, I was living in an age barrier, and I was just like, dude, I'm too old for this. I was the one that was helping everybody. I was the one that was making all the money. I wanted, and I felt away because I was like, oh my God, now here I am, and I'm the one that needs the help. And it was, oh God. But at any rate, y'all, I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling about it, but it was uplifting at the time. And so I just noticed that 2019 started off bad, but it has ended on a great note, and I'm super excited and super focused on what is going to happen. God made some changes in my life because I prayed and I dedicated myself to His word, and I believed and I spoke things into existence, and I applied these things to my life, and I can see that they are changing. And where I am now, I was not even 3 years ago was I here. And I want to say that the last time that I had this much peace and this much freedom in my life was probably when I was having my daughter. And she's about to be 11 next month. So that's crazy, right? But it took everything that I was going through. It took me to get to this place in order to, make the necessary changes. So I say that, and I share this testimony with you all just to say, like, no matter where you are in life, just focus on what God has given you. I'm telling you, He's going to bring you out. You have to apply the principles. You really have to get down to the nitty-gritty and believe in yourself. Believe in who you are. Believe in what you have to offer. You have to know your worth, and that's something that I had to learn. Even at the age that I am now, I had to learn that I have to value who I am, because if you don't value who you are, you can't expect people to value who you are. And God values who you are. So that alone should make you jump up and be like, wait, hold up. I'm worth a whole lot more than that, And just love on yourself. Love on yourself. 2020 should be the most focused year that you could possibly conjure up. Like, real talk. You know what I'm saying? Think before speaking. Write stuff down. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Make everything intentional. Everything you do should be intentional. Everything you do should be intentional. And that was one of the things that I said. I'm being strategic about the moves that I make. I'm being strategic about how I speak. I'm being strategic about everything that I put my hands to do. I'm being very strategic about it all. And so I challenge you all to do that same thing. 2020 is going to be amazing. Also, I wanted to tell you all about this as we go through the challenge. If you all are up to it, I wanted to share with you something that I am reading right now. And I want, it's already, I just started, and this thing is already changing my life. Good Lord Jesus. Already. But I had the great opportunity to work with some people at the Woodlands Church here in Houston, Texas. And they're in the city just outside, which is Woodlands. They kind of call it Shenandoah. What is it? I was about to say Corona. Lord Jesus, help us all. But I can't even think of it. It starts with a C. Okay, anyway, the Woodlands. If you're from Houston, you know. But Woodlands, Shenandoah, and anyway, I'm gonna come back with it. That is so sad. Anyway, they are amazing. They are an amazing couple, right? Pastor Carrie and Chris Shook. They are the founders of the Woodlands Church, and they wrote a book, and this book has blessed me already. I'm telling y'all, I'm only a couple days in, and I am just like, okay, so it's gonna be backwards, I know, but I want to tell you guys about it, and I'll make sure that I put the information in it as well. But it's called 1 Month to Live, and it's 30 days to a no regrets life. 30 days to a no regrets life. And when you start, there is a place here in the book where you sign that you are going to be committed, right, to the challenge. And so it says, I commit with God's strength to live the next 30 days as if they are my last, so I can experience life to the full. And it has a place here where you can sign. And if you have someone that's doing it with you, then you can put their name as well. And then, of course, it has Pastor Carrie and Chris Shook's name here because they're, spiritually going through this challenge with you. And they've already done it as well. So this is the 10th anniversary edition. And so there are some really cool excerpts in there to tell you how things have changed since they've written the book. And I think it's amazing. There's a foreword in here by Rick Warren. And if any of you are readers, then you know who Rick Warren is. He's up there with some of the greatest authors. He's up there with Joyce Meyers. Like, I love Rick Warren's books and Joyce Meyers' books and this Pastor Priscilla. But this right here is a good read. And so I just, I'm saying it because I really want you all to be able to get in on this challenge with me, because I think that it will change your life. So if you're up for it, pick the book up. It's everywhere. It's New York Times bestseller right now. So I know that you could probably find it on Amazon Books. You could probably find it everywhere, actually. So get that if you can. 1 month to live, 30 days to a no regrets life by Pastor Carrie and Chris Shooks. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so that is all for today. I think I've probably rambled on a little longer than I would normally do for our podcast, but I'm just, man, when I tell you I'm excited about the new year, I really am. And I am doing exactly what this book is talking about, living as if I do have, these are my last 30 days, and I'm just putting my best foot forward and doing things as if maybe I don't have time to do it. A lot of times we don't live our life like that, We live for the day and we live for the moment instead of just living, living in the actual moment. We don't take time for ourselves, you know what I mean? And we don't do the things that we really, really feel passionate about, or the things that we really want to do. We don't take those leaps of faith. We don't step out, and just do those things that we really, really want to do because we're afraid and we live in fear and we're trying to figure it out. And, we're going to live like we don't have time to do all of that. We're just going to do it, and do it within our means. Nobody said take your life savings and put all of it on a vacation that you can't afford. We're not doing dumb stuff, but we're living within our means. Simple things like spending more time with your kid, going to that movie on Friday night instead of, just saying, oh no, we're just gonna sit at home and we just, Okay, so this is one of those transparent moments, when you're doing your own videos and people call you because they don't know you're busy. That's one of those things. So we cutting and splicing. But anyway, just finishing off, go to that movie, with your child. Go to the game, even though you may have work to do. Just take a few minutes off and make their day by showing up for them and supporting what they have to do. If they have businesses and they've shared their business ideas with you, support your children. Give them, support your mom, support your dad in their endeavors. If they're out preaching, if they're out speaking to someone, if they're out talking to schools, whatever it may be, show your love and support for your friends and your family. Walk in forgiveness. That's one of the biggest things that I was talking about when it came to starting this new year off. And a lot of times we say we forgive and we don't, but we need to really walk in forgiveness. Forgiveness is about us, and I've done a podcast in the past about it. But forgiveness is really about you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you ask for forgiveness from someone who will probably never forgive you or never ask for forgiveness themselves. I'm a living witness. There are people I know should have apologized and haven't. But guess what? I don't care. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I don't have time for it, huh? 2020 will be a stress-free year for moi. That's what it's going to be, huh? I have peace, and that's what's important. You can lay your head down at night knowing that you have peace in your heart and peace in your mind and peace in your soul. That is the most important thing, because stress is the #1 killer, and that is not what you want to do, die from stress. I'm not doing it. I don't know about you, but I can't do it. So it's not happening. So 2020, here we are, and I'm in this thing full force, and I'm so excited about it. Oh my God. Okay. So again, just encouraging you all to give yourselves a sense of worth, right? Give yourself something to build on. Give yourself something to focus on, and do that. Make a plan, write it down, get a calendar, do whatever it is that you have to do. And you focus on you. You focus on your family. You focus on that one project that you are doing. And you do it with everything that you have inside of you. Give it everything you've got. And I know that you guys can do it. And I'm super excited. And I'm hoping that you all will tell me your stories. I'm so excited to hear about how things are going with you. We're going to check in again, at the end of the month, and see how everybody is doing, and see how everybody, kind of weighed out with the month of challenge. And again, the book is called 1 Month to Live, 30 Days to a No Regrets Life by Pastor Carrie and Chris Shook of the Woodlands Church here in Woodlands, Texas. Yes. I pray that you all have the best and most amazing 2020. And stick with us, because we've got some really great things to come. Love you all, and thank you so much for tuning in. Have a blessed week. Hey everybody, we just wanted to do a short recap and to say thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. We're so super excited about all the things that will be going on and taking place this year. Just wanted to share with you that we are going to be doing a live podcast this year in 2020. So excited. Here in the Houston area, we will have details that will be coming towards the end of the month, and we're hoping that you all will be able to come out and share in this live experience with us. We're so super grateful to be able to do this. It'll be our first live podcast. Yay! So we're making things happen, huh? And we're getting things together. Shout out to the Toolbox for sponsoring this episode. On today, we didn't have on our cute little Toolbox things, but they definitely sponsor us in this particular episode. So we're thankful to them for that. And we also wanted to recap again on the book that we are reading for this month. It's called 1 Month to Live, 30 Days to a No Regrets Life by Pastor Carrie and Chris Shooks of the Woodlands Church here in the Houston area. It's Woodland, Texas. So make sure that you all go and pick up a copy of that if you can. And again, just want to say thank you. Make sure that you all hit that like button when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and just share and follow our Instagram at Grindingthrough. We are so definitely just excited about the new year, and we are glad that you all are tuning in, and glad that we'll be able to share some of the wonderful things that we'll be doing with you. So make sure you tell a friend, post about us, tag us, send us an email if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you all want to talk about, any subjects that you might want to discuss, some things that might be on your heart that you yourself may not be able to do. Also, let us know if you want to be a guest on the show. It would be so cool to be able to get with some of you and do the podcast and be able to talk to you and get your perspectives on life and some of the things that you might be going through as a parent, as a daughter, as a mother, as a sibling. I mean, come on. There's so many things that we can talk about, and we would love to sit and talk with you. So make sure that if you are interested, hit us up. We've got an email, grindingthrough@gmail.com, and just send us your information and send us what you all want to talk about. And we're so eager to hear from you all. Make sure that you all have a blessed day, and thank you so much for grinding through this thing that we call life. together. Have a great day.